you doing? Welcome to the Liverpool Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch, and we are here in our new studios here at the Big Condo Academy. Liverpool Online has moved locations, and as doing so, we are still doing the same thing, meeting people from the community that we feel that you want to hear from and I want to hear from. And today we have a special guest with us in the studio. I don't want to say the version, but I'm just going to say you're our first guest. It's Ryan from Positive Futures. Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Chase. You okay?
How you doing, Ryan? I mean, listen, man, I thought I could joke around with you on that one, because it's all right. But yes, you are our first guest in our new studio. What do you think?
It's nice, fresh. Wasn't expecting to see what I see. And I think, looking great.
No, exactly. Thank you very much for being so kind. We like to try and enclose our place and everything and make it feel like magic. The main thing about it to us is it's warm. Now, as far as being warm, I'm pretty sure Positive Futures has such a warming environment being around for, I believe you said it was like about 12 years now, right?
Yeah, been going from around 12 years. We're a government-funded project, which was national.
Are you in the north end of town, or?
Yeah. So we're based in North Liverpool on Langham Street, just off County and Walton Road, and we predominantly work in the TK wards, which are Tubruk, County, Anfield, Kirkdale, and Everton.
All right. So do you have any other bases or one base?
One base. Usually we used to just satellite ourselves across the wards and things like that. We use detached youth work as a tool to engage the young people across the other wards.
So you do outreach then?
Yeah, bit of outreach, detached. I think it's a mixture of both, to be fair. We try and get some of the young people back to the centre, but those who are a little bit hard to reach or more reluctant to come to us will engage on the streets and do the youth development work, the informal education to them on the streets. We'll take you have
one of those night bands or something like that?
No, we're not as privileged as other organisations in terms of having that, but we do team up with them.
Okay.
I know Walton New Project have been involved in one of the podcasts more recently.
Yeah.
And they've got the base that come about a long time ago. It was the Voz bus at one point.
The Voz bus?
Yeah, Darren won't thank us for that, but I absolutely adored the Voz bus.
Oh, yeah.
And we handed over the keys from the consortia to Darren at Walton New Project, and they've made it the base.
The Voz bus, it also had that look of the Partridge Family bus, because they had the ability to decorate the outside of it. It all was pretty colorful and everything. But also too, as you said it to me, in our open interviews, is that it's a good question, because I was going to ask you, what makes Positive Futures different from the other youth organizations that are out there?
For me, it's obviously every youth organisation's got that family feel and things like that. But more recently, Positive Futures have focused a lot more on one-to-one support, mental health, and things like that, supporting the young people via our TSS service. Going along the lines of obviously the increase in mental health issues or needs with young people and following the trends. We've birthed out this targeted support service and not moved fully away from youth development, but our service is now supplemented. So we've got the youth development service and TSS, which work hand in hand with each other with support from our family support worker. It's got a bit of a triangle going on.
Well, I mean, I think what's interesting about that is, as you say, that one of your remits or ethos is to focus in on mental health. It's now we're coining new terms, neurodiverse. So and also too is with other youth organizations out there, a lot of them deal with more physical activity, don't they?
Yeah.
So what do you say that Positive Futures deal with in helping young people, especially when you're looking at neurodiversity and mental health and all of that? What kind of activities do you provide?
It's a lot of obviously one-to-one support through CBT skills and DBT skills, which is obviously cognitive behaviour therapy and dialectical behaviour therapy, if that's
dialectical.
The right... Yeah.
Wow.
That's done a bit more in group sessions and group-centred approach, but there too, it's about thoughts, feelings, behaviours and how to react to certain situations, which is a really good tool to obviously work with young people to get them to think about the situations they're involved in and how to best react to them, really.
Yeah, I mean, because also too is when I asked you about the age range, I believe you said it was 8 to 24?
Yeah, so 8 to 18, really.
8
but
to 18.
Then we've moved to 24, obviously, with those with
this recently
additional needs. No, this is what we've always done, 8 to 24. Obviously 18 plus, you're looking at more those who are neurodiverse, SEND, and so on. But we never say no. We're a bit more of a revolving door. So if somebody does need to come back and access some form of support, we're not going to say no to them, and we'll welcome them back with open arms. It's
kind of like if you're nurturing them through your system, it's hard to let go, isn't it? And unless they are fully integrated into one or two, like when I asked you about employability skills and stuff like that, what do you think about that?
Obviously, we like to use two terms at Positive Futures. You've got springboard, not a crutch.
Whoa.
So
wait, let's say that again. Springboard and not a crutch?
Yeah.
Nice one.
Obviously, the crutch is there to support and hold, and there for as long as you need it. Springboard's there to propel you onto new heights.
Yeah.
And obviously, the revolving door, which I've just mentioned, obviously, it looks at... There's an open door policy, but a revolving door means you can go and come back whenever you want. And that does happen. You don't see young people for 2-3 years. Some of them come back to let us know how well they're doing, that they've got a family, or someone come back to say, I need a little bit more support. And things like employability will work with somebody up until they're 14, 15. They'll disappear for a year or two, and they'll come back and go, I'm lost, my education's not doing so well, I'm struggling. And what can you do for me? So we'll look at certain projects. One at the moment we've got with the ADHD Foundation. Under
what foundation?
The ADHD Foundation.
ADHD.
Under the umbrella project called Diversity. So similar to diversity, but diver and then city as in the city.
Yeah.
Allowing young people to grow and learn and develop the skills, especially those who are NEET, neurodiverse and care leavers, to look at further education and employment.
It just all sounds like fascinating. Obviously, you've been with the project, I believe you said around 6-7 years?
Yeah, 7 years.
7 years and stuff like that. It's like, is there any personal success story that works for you that, I don't know, that makes you feel good?
Straight away, I'm a success story for the organisation. I come through as a young person.
Oh, were you a part of the
organisation? I was, yeah.
Nice one.
So that's one for the organisation, young person into volunteer, into a member of the bank staff, into the full-time member of staff. So I think that's a good success story in itself, and for me, something to be proud of. But I've done a number of different things whilst I've been there. I've done a diversity project, literally diversity this time, which spanned a year long. We looked at different things over the quarter, such as refugees, looked at British values and so on. And we visited a number of places such as London, Ireland. We took the young people to experience these things and take part in different workshops and to change the views and their understanding of their stereotypes and what they believe. We wanted to change that and challenge what had gone before. Notoriously, Liverpool can fall under into poor stereotype brackets and things like that, and people believe a lot of things, and to be able to introduce the young people at a young age or as they're going through adolescence to understand and think that people are different, but it should be celebrated and not challenged or made mockery of.
Well, yeah, that's always like the thing, isn't it? It must have been comparing the past to the present, when because it was only I believe about 5 years ago that we started to be introduced to the term of the autistic spectrum, where it could you speak on how did that affect some of your service users in that aspect? Because let's say for my son to be able to be diagnosed with something specific, to not just think that he's weird and different, but that this is you have Asperger's or you have self-mutism, and being that he was diagnosed, it made him feel more comfortable with himself. If you get me, as opposed to something from my age when I was a kid. Yeah, you're just stupid or weird, whatever, something like that. Nobody gave it a clarification, and stuff like that. So, how did that difference work with your organization when they started to clarify SEN a little bit more specifically?
I think obviously the level of acceptance and understanding was massive. The training that had to be
it helped your staff in-house as well, didn't it?
We were able to support young people more effectively. But also, having said that, it was a bit of a double-edged sword as well, because you still had parents and young people who didn't want to label on who they were and their behaviours, which was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, but that's because when again, I go back generationally, labels were hard. You know, I mean, when we were talking about autism, you know, it felt like a dirty word. You know, it's just like, you know, so they didn't know or understand the difference in those labels, like dyspraxia and dyslexia and Asperger's and all of that. You know, they're all different things, but we also exhibit traits of those things at different times. So it's not like you're giving a full-on label. You're just saying, if you're on the autistic spectrum, it's supposed to be able to understand people more. And that's why I was just wondering if that helped with your young people, especially since you were dealing with mental health in that aspect, because it's like, you know, before, this is only a mere 5, I don't know, I can't even remember the number now. It's getting further along. But that's why I was wondering from your perspective in dealing with it, you know?
As an organisation, obviously, it was hard. It was exciting at the same time. We were also able to introduce a group. We call it the TCG group, which is trading cards, specifically focused on the likes of Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and things like that. Because
card captors, okay, I know you. Top trumps.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. Obviously, the young people, if they do watch this, I didn't say top trumps, that was Chase.
Okay, but, all right. My kid plays top trumps. What do you want from me?
It was an environment that we were able to create for those young people who are neurodiverse, and we were experiencing these new labels and terminologies associated with their needs and experiences to attend, feel safe, engage in social circles in that environment where they were safe, supported, and were able to then develop. Obviously, it wasn't just focused on playing card games. It was the informal education, the personal development, the introduction to new experiences and taking them away from home. Some of them were bordered at 18, 19 years of age and never left home for the night.
Wow.
So to give them that experience and to know that people that were working with them had that knowledge, understanding, were able to support and celebrate them, it allowed them to feel safe and happy.
Exactly.
And celebrate that difference in a new way.
Yeah. And there were other people where they don't feel alone, do they?
No.
So did you say that you do trips out or like overnights in them?
We do residentials, we do day trips, yeah. Residentials probably my favourite thing.
Yeah. So like what kind of residential, like locally or?
Do a mixture. We do outdoor adventurous activity residentials down in Bala in Wales. Wow. And we do a lot across the PGL group. So like the Kingswood, the Colomendis and things like that. We do a lot of them.
Oh, nice one. So then how is Positive Futures funded then?
Through a number of different means. We've got long-term standing relationships with funders and partners such as the Steve Morgan Foundation.
You know, I was talking to Woman Dad podcast just came out today, Joe Galbraith from Autism in Motion.
Okay, yeah.
And everything. And so they're looking for money from the Steve Morgan Foundation. Everybody knows the Steve Morgan Foundation, the Great Foundation. So do they support Positive Futures?
They do, yeah.
Nice one, Steve Morgan.
Yeah, thank you very much. We were up for 2 awards last year as well. Came runner-up in both. But it was just fantastic to be recognised for the work we do. And obviously, again, the support from Steve Morgan and the foundation in general is invaluable.
Yeah,
really.
of course.
Other funders as well, we're looking at the lottery, the National Lottery. In the past, Common Relief, Children in Need, and more recently, Merseyside Police, the Merseyside Violence Reduction Partnership.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing a lot of support funding of late, haven't they, the Merseyside Police?
And that's very helpful, obviously, and the knowledge and intel and support you can get from them allows you to support the young people a lot more effectively in terms of, in relation to the county lines work and gangs and things like that.
Yeah. So, speaking of gangs and stuff and detached work and everything, you know, how has it been, you know, supporting young people in your area? I mean, like, have you had, you know, more positive than negative experiences or whatever? And how did you encourage that? Positive side.
For me, I absolutely adore the work I do. I think the reason I'm in the job is because of my experiences and the positive experience I've had with the adults in my life. By no means my upbringing wasn't hard. My upbringing was great and fine. But the youth workers in my life and teachers in my life inspired me to make the change. And I try and propel that onto the young people we work with. The experiences on the streets sometimes are negative. obviously trying to engage young people causing issues outside of sheltered accommodations for old people and things, and to be able to challenge them in a respectful manner and to get that response back from them, it is hard because they don't see they're doing no wrong. Then you become an undercover police officer. Or the board, yeah. But you've got to look at tailoring your argument to their level and their needs and to suit them, so it becomes a positive engagement opposed to confrontation, which young people are very often used to. When adults in their lives come to speak to them or challenge them about something, it always ends up in confrontation. Look back to schools, people's schools experiences, home life and police are the three normally where they relate that to. And if they've got someone that's willing to put the hypothetical arm around them,
yeah,
that's where the positive experiences come from. You're able to build that rapport with them and they know you're there for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we were talking about like what makes Positive Futures different from the other organizations, do you also are you involved in collaborative work with other organizations?
Yeah, we work with a number of different organisations. I mentioned the VOS bus, so that was born out of the VOS project consortium, which looked at outreach and group work across the North Liverpool area with 5 different partners, down to 3 partners now, but we're very far into that project, and that Sports Alive and What New project. That's a great.
Sports Alive, Maria Mendes.
Yeah.
We did a podcast with them as well.
So we're great relationships with them, and then you look at the 2 football clubs, got the LFC Foundation and Everton in the community.
Yeah.
Obviously, the size of them, it just makes sense to work with them. They've got the infrastructure, the power of the badge, the power of the brand. That helps the work and challenging things we've done.
You know, you're a man of sayings, I got to tell you.
I think it's years of not training in a sense, but
but it's good.
What just comes into your head and stays.
Yeah. So I mean, like as far as like staff, are you what's a percentage of paid staff and volunteer staff and stuff?
The percentage quite high in terms of paid staff. We've got a lot of placements and volunteers, but you're looking at 75 to 80% paid staff.
Oh, really? Because some organizations are really like smaller than that. I mean, I think even when we were talking to Walton Youth or something, I think they have more volunteer staff to paid staff. I don't know. I'm not sure and stuff. But no, that's good though, isn't it?
I think a lot of it is how embedded they are in the community. I know, for example, the Shuzi have a lot of volunteers and they're very embedded in their community, and we are in our community, but like I said, we work across so many different wards from one base. It's very hard to have the volunteers there in a similar way, but we do get university volunteers. We get young people coming through the system, but not the system.
I mean, because don't you like have like people coming like to mentor groups or and different things like that, or and stuff. Far as engagement is concerned and everything. Yeah,
so you get people coming in on a voluntary basis and things, but we look at them more as partner orgs or partner businesses or things like that. We look at a volunteer in a different light possibly than other organisations. Some of them are young leaders and young volunteers who have come through the organisation and developed that way. Yeah. And then you're looking at university students who are looking to gain more experience in the field prior to moving on or to supplement their studies. Okay. So I think how you look at a volunteer in different methods and manners really identified, but the people who come on and join our team in any capacity are part of the team. Yeah. So I don't think that is...
No, I got you. And I mean, I was really only just saying is that like, because of funding and stuff like that, some organizations, that's what it is. Like you might only have like more volunteer staff than paid staff and everything, all that kind of stuff. So, like, obviously, is this, how can people get involved? Like, let's say parents getting their young people involved, because is it free for young people?
Yeah, everything's free. Obviously, half term as well, which I didn't mention, funded through HAF.
Oh, well, the HAF Foundation. We love the HAF Foundation and everything like that.
So the opportunities they've provided the young people through the summer months and things like that during the longer holidays has been absolutely fantastic. Obviously the food element to it as well is great.
The healthy meals,
so to get involved, obviously check out the website, Positive Futures Liverpool.org.uk, or check out socials, so Positive Futures Liverpool, Positive Futures North Liverpool on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. That's how they can get involved, really.
Yeah. I mean, because that's just the whole thing about it is that like, a parent may wonder like, what could I do with my child, whatever, and everything like that, because, and you already said, like, you're based in, like, the north regions of Liverpool and everything like that, and everything. But can you take people from all over, or?
Yeah, as long as they're willing to travel to sessions and things like that, or if fit. More recently, we have branched out into, like, the south of Liverpool and things for certain projects. And
some people go to the fire fit and everything like that, and I mean, some northern organizations and stuff like that. Have you been to fire fit?
We have, yeah. Do a lot of training with the fire fit through Taurus. We're obviously very involved with the fire fit. The housing. Taurus housing.
Oh, Taurus. Yeah. Sorry.
So we've got them there. Do a lot of work, but we're slowly reaching out to like the south of Liverpool and things like that, but not to step on anybody's toes. It's to work with young people mainly on a one-to-one basis. Yeah. To follow the need in a sense and see where the referrals are coming from.
No. This is indeed true. I mean, but that's what we were kind of like saying before, in a way, that there are a lot of different youth organizations about, aren't they? And, and sometimes, you have to find your niche. But then, like, an organization like yours that's been around for some time, and doing, like, the work that it does and everything, so it already has its reputation and stuff, Because I think we met at an event at the Blackie, which is in the South Side. Yeah. And stuff like that. So it was like, you got to, that's what you have to do. You have to do your outreach to make connections, don't you?
You've got to do what you've got to do. And obviously, unfortunately, youth work's a very competitive environment when it comes down to funding and things like that. So,
it's
true. It went from people scratching each other's back to stabbing each other in the back, in a sense, looking for funding. And now I feel like that the community centre's coming back in terms of organisations and the collaborative work. So everyone's going back to scratching each other's back again, it feels like, anyway. And I hope it stays that way, really.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, but that's what we often try to say, is like working with the community and doing the community podcast. We want to, like, often let people know what other organizations are doing. And it seems like, even like in this interview, it's like there's all this cross-pollination of different organizations that we're familiar with. But also, too, is that, we're like a digital media experience, from podcasting to music, film, and all that. So it's like all that is there, where it's like, hey, you're an organization, you want to, like, hey, let's do something more visceral, or, electronic, whatever, with our young people and stuff that are not games or sports or something like that. So that's pretty good. So what's coming up for Positive Futures now? I mean, like if they've been around for 12 some odd years, what's coming up for them now? I mean, what could you tell us a little bit that promote?
I think that I can promote, in a sense. We've got a fundraising campaign at the moment under the big give called Mental Wealth. Obviously linking into a lot of the things I'm saying around targeted
support. Mental wealth, there you go. There's another one. Some of these I'm stealing.
But I just get them fed into my head. I haven't made any of these up, don't you worry. Not copyrighted at all.
So mental wealth.
Mental wealth, obviously.
What is that?
Trying to raise money to support more young people and get the service out more. And potentially,
I thought it was a thing that was happening now.
It's just the title of the fundraising campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Through the big give, and everything we raise is matched and doubled.
All right.
So if we can do it, the more we get in, the better. Obviously, I can try and share the link with yourselves to support and get that out there for us. That'd be fantastic. But that's
what you're working on now.
That's what we're working on at the moment, up until in the run up to Christmas.
Yeah. And obviously, you probably got your Christmas half coming up.
Yeah, Christmas half coming up, not too far away.
What are you guys going to do for Christmas then?
I know there's a couple of podcasts.
Podcast
on the mind. Pantomimes.
Pantomime.
Coming up. So we've got pantos coming up.
You guys are doing a panto?
No, unfortunately not. We want to.
You're going to go to some pantos.
I think if we'd done a panto, it'd be a calamity of errors.
Go on, that would be funny.
So
that's like Vampire in Brooklyn.
So yeah, going to go to a couple of pantomimes. Christmas party for the juniors and seniors, some different activities and things.
Well, actually, we kind of left the little ones out because, because you got little ones. I mean, is there a particular focus that you deal with them? Do you do sensory rooms or?
We've got 2 one-to-one rooms in the organisation which we use, and we've got materials and equipment which turns them into sensory rooms. So it gives them some time out space and things like that, just to be relaxed in themselves. But with the younger ones, we run regular sessions for them, and predominantly have young people from the local school to us and do a walking bus. So
a walking bus?
Yeah, so we pick them up from school and walk them from the school to the centre, opposed to putting them on a minibus and driving them. We just
walk them.
Yeah, staff them to at the front.
As if you were like on a stagecoach or something like that, walking along the side of the bus line. You can't get on.
don't worry though, we're not in the bus lane. We're on the side. So
I'm kidding. You wouldn't do that.
But yeah,
yeah,
that works quite well. It gets a lot of numbers as well. Yeah, because obviously it's basically an after school club, isn't it? In a sense, because we collect the young people and then the parents pick them up from our centre. But we do a lot of work there then with them who benefit. The younger ones benefit a lot through HAF.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, that's the whole main thing, isn't it? I mean, do you deal with the parents then as well? Do you have any like coffee groups or anything like that?
We do occasional ones around like seasonal. So obviously one in the summer, autumn, winter, spring, just to let them know what's going on and things. But we've got a family support worker who's new in post, who hopefully will get them more up and running on a regular basis.
Yeah, of course.
They do one-to-one support for families who are involved in the Tigers of Support service. But I think moving forward, I think there's big plans there in terms of getting more families involved and what can we do to support families.
Sounds a lot like white pass in a way, I guess.
I think there's a mixture.
Because you're doing a lot of one-to-one work and everything like that. But you do group work as well?
Yeah, so the open access, the youth development team do a lot of that. So that's Monday to Friday, sometimes weekends. And I think we turn our hand to anything, really. That's the beauty of it. And we've got a support management team who allow us to do that.
Yeah.
We do a lot in schools as well, but obviously I haven't even mentioned anything about schools and the partnership work we do.
Well, I mean, you got a few minutes. What did you want to say about the schools?
So obviously the group work in schools is fantastic. It gives you the bigger reach, gives you that.
It gets them to know who you are.
Yeah, and it works perfectly for the likes of detached.
Is it a good resource for you?
It's massive resource. I to think back 2 weeks ago and talk about neurodiverse and labels and things. I done an assembly on neurodiversity.
You did it?
To primary school kids. Well, junior school, so year 3 up to year 6. And I was blown away by the amount of knowledge they had, the amount of young people that were willing to put their hands up and say, I've got ADHD, I'm autistic.
Yeah.
Whereas rewind them 5, 6, 7 years we're talking about.
What I'm telling you about.
That was something to be ashamed of, or nobody knew what it was, or it was the kid that had to sit by the teacher.
Yeah.
But now they're integrated into the lesson, they're in the assemblies, they're engaging with external partners.
Yeah.
And it's managed correctly. And one of them walked out and said, I was so happy you were coming in today because I've got ADHD.
And you know, when able to finally talk about it.
Yeah, and when something just stays with you and gives you that the goosebump moment and things like that, you're like, oh my God, I've made a difference today.
Exactly. It sounds fantastic, man. You know what I mean? I mean, like, well, you know, listen, man, it's been really amazing, like, talking to you, you coming in and telling us all about Positive Futures and what the work of the organization has been doing. You know, and I mean, mainly it's like, again, if people want to find you on your socials, you're pretty much, as you said, Positive Futures.
Positive Futures North Liverpool or Positive Futures Liverpool on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, and everything like that. And, you know, and pretty much if you feel that you have a young person that could use access to this kind of support work, you know, please seek out this organization and what you guys are all about. And everything, and I just want to once again thank you for coming in and everything. All right, so that was Positive Futures, and you know, listen, you know, what we want to do is start encouraging people to comment on these videos and everything. So comment down below, including you, mate, and encouraging people to comment and stuff like that. You know, because I mean, these organizations that we've been talking to for the past time, even though we're just starting up again, is that they are doing such fantastic work with our community that, like, I wouldn't call them underdogs, but, you know, they're just underground heroes and everything like that. And we really need to continue to support these people. Even though they're being supported, they can be supported by you in the community as well. So I just want to thank you. Please comment down below, like and share as well and everything. I'm Chase Johnson Lynch, and you've been watching the Liverpool Community Podcast here on Liverpool Online at the Big Condo Academy. And we're out of here. Peace.